Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is Overtalk. I'm here today with Fear as my co-host again, and we have a guest this time. Introduce yourself.
I am Ghost Has B, the resident haunting of this
Of this, what?
just of this
Interesting.
existence.
Of this, and this is this, and excellent, wonderful. We love that for you.
This existence, always haunting, always doing my part.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean,
Okay,
I'm glad to be back on the
so
podcast again.
yeah, we didn't do one for a while because there just wasn't a whole lot to talk about. And what we were gonna, and then I had no internet for 3 weeks. That wasn't nice.
Aw, that sucks.
Yeah, literally, I had nothing to talk about, and then, oh, for like 3 weeks, didn't have internet. So it's like, that fucking sucks. So yeah, not fun, not fun.
What are we talking about first?
Well, first up is the beta patch notes. So open up your tabs if you got them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we're going over the last patch notes that were received on the July 14th.
Okay.
I have to input something on my phone, but I want to Ghost. I want to hear your thoughts on. We'll start with Doomfists. What do you think of this patch?
Doomfist? Um, what's a hard one? What do I think of this?
Is Power Block and Rocket Punch getting changes
I
to
I
them?
think I think it's needed. I don't think Doom was as much as he was previously. Like
Well,
I
he.
do like how they like took the damage down required to enable rocket punch. And I don't know how I feel about the knockback happening to everyone. It just seems kind of tedious to me,
I mean,
but it could
I
be needed.
I somewhat agree with having knockback done to everybody because then now if it hits like a group of people, they're getting knocked back, whereas before you only could take out one target at a time. Monkey can jump in and do damage to everybody. I don't see why the knockback can't happen.
Yeah, that's true. Fear?
Uh, I mean, I generally, I don't know how I feel about Doomfist. Honestly, in Overwatch 2, like he's good. It's just, uh, I'm not sure. Like I might have to play him a little bit more. And yeah,
From what I seen when I did get to play as him, it was nice for the short time being. I was able to chain my punches a lot easier and extend my jumps while doing so. Um, what I didn't care for all that much was what was it? I still think he needs to be buffed again.
I think the only thing I didn't really like about him is that they took away the like that little stun uh
Oh, and his down slam.
on his slam. Yeah,
It wasn't so much of a stun; it just made you move slower.
yeah,
Yeah, it was a movement penalty.
What I would prefer, hear me out here, is because when you do a power block and you go to charge up a punch, it's the same. It doesn't charge up any faster. So like you do a power block, but then you can only do like a short punch or a half punch. You can't do like a full wind up. So it feels counterintuitive to me for you to like have Doomfist, who's really good at close quarters combat, to do a power block and then wind up, but have to do a full wind up, and he's open for that whole time and usually die.
Yeah,
So you either have to do a
I,
power
I
block and get away, or power block and then do a short punch and then back the fuck up.
I don't know. I feel like that's how he should be played. He should be played more of as like a hit and run type thing.
What I would prefer is if, because he's a tank, he's supposed to be like kind of staying up front, able to dive targets easier. I would like it if the power block sped up your punch. I know it makes it instantly available, but I want like the charge up to be faster. Maybe like a 25% less in terms of like wind up time. So instead of being a 4-second wind up, it's a 2-second wind up to full charge.
Yeah, I think.
That might be nice.
Yeah,
Because I think it's like then it would play similar to like Zarya's kind of thing where you're trying to not shoot the bubble and not do any
Yeah.
damage to the bubble to feed her. Whereas what does Doom get for having a power block? He gets 10 extra damage on his punch.
I think it should depend on how much damage he blocks.
Well, because
Like, the more damage that the power block blocks, the more or the less time it takes up to punch or to wind up the next punch.
because while they did reduce his speed, they increased his speed when he can do his power block, but all it does is his power block. What, the Empower Rocket Punch? They reduced it from 100 damage to 90 damage. So he does what, I think it's like 60 or sorry, I think it's like 80 damage now on a full charged rocket punch. So he does 80 damage flat. And if he hits you into a wall, he does extra damage. But
Yeah.
to a tank, that's absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You can't hit a tank with him. You have to hit a squishy. So if I hit a Reaper, it's just like Doomfist. He's effective, but he doesn't do nearly enough damage. He's very much like Hog. He's very codependent on another tank, but you don't have another tank, so he's kind of like a dead fish in water. Because he's still not strong enough to survive on his own. Even when I was in beta and we went into open queue, had 2 healers, and we did 3 healers, and a DPS and a tank. Then Doomfist was actually able to do something, but that was only able because we were able to make up for the 40% drop in heals overall to all healers.
Yeah.
So either his damage needs to be buffed back up to 100 baseline, and have the charge up to 110 per punch, and then extra, like, have it just do like 120 if you slam him into a wall or something. Or if you still want to keep it at 80, have it do 80, 90 on a full charge up, and then 100 to 110 when they're slammed into a wall. Sure, whatever. I'm okay with that. Make his power block do a cooldown. I think the only other thing I would like to return to him is I want him to gain more overhealth when he hits somebody.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Because he used to gain shield, which meant he could, like, resist damage, but now he gains overhealth, and overhealth is just normal health that doesn't give any that doesn't give any alt charge. But he gains, like, 20. And it doesn't do anything to anything. A Reaper shot will eat that and still do damage to you. Especially since Junker Queen can heal from her health hits and negate most of the damage coming into her. Speaking of that, Junker Queen, so the radius was reduced from 20 to 15 meters on her commanding shout. I think it's okay for the bonus health to decay.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They definitely needed that.
I still don't like her.
The fact that she could heal / give overhealth for 200 and it not decay was insane.
So here's what I don't care for. Her rampage is a anti-grenade, and it does bleed. So you're antied, you cannot heal, and you're also bleeding. The reason I don't like this is out of any other ultimate in the game, every ultimate to some example is avoidable, or you can work around it. This one, you just can't work around it. It kind of breaks the whole thing that Overwatch had at least going for it. Whether the ultimate was overpowered or not, you could still do something to stop it. You can't junk trap her when she flies through. You can't junk trap her. You can't slow her down with turrets. You can't dislodge her from her path with a rocket if she does it.
The only thing you can do, I think, is sleep it. And you have to sleep it during the charge up.
Yeah.
If she goes through, you can't sleep it. You can't hook her out of it because your hook bounces off. She just gets pushed through automatically, and you can't halt it in any way, shape, or form. And considering every other ultimate is able to be halted in some way, so like Ryan, you can halt it by pushing him, or stunning him, or just killing him. Roadhog,
yeah,
he can be deflected by Genji, or you can fucking anti him so he can't heal himself. Diva, you can get away from the bomb or shield it. Sigma, you can simply run out of the radius. Orisa, you can run out of her radius now before she sucks you in. Like, they're all avoidable. They're all deadly still, but they're all avoidable. Junker Queen doesn't feel great, though. Like, her ultimate is, oh, I anti'd you. But if you have an Ana, that doesn't fucking matter. So it's like a free anti that does bleed. It just doesn't. It's not impressive to me. It's like Baptiste's ult. It's not super impressive unless you have a soldier to combo with. Other than that, it's pretty lackluster. Any of your guys' thoughts?
I again, I dislike it just because of the same points you pointed out. Like, there's no way to stop it once it's in motion. The anti is okay, I think, but it's sort of like tacked on. Like, her kit isn't like,
It doesn't match up for like what she does at all.
yeah,
I see.
like she's all about bleed, and
Like,
Junker Queen to me feels like a very. She feels like a second Sigma. Like, Sigma, when he first arrived, was strong because he could self-survive and stall for a really long time. Junker Queen feels like the same way, where she can still stall, but in terms of like a 5v5, I think she's the weakest tank out of everyone there. Weaker than Doomfist, I find.
5v5. I don't know. I find her really strong.
In a 5v5, I don't find her all that strong overall, even with playing against her. Her overhealth doesn't heal as much as you think it would.
Have you seen Contenders, Cactus?
Yes, professionals are always going to be cracked as fuck.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yes.
Like, she can be really good.
She can be really good. If you hit all your shots and you do crit shots similar to Reaper.
Your timing also has to be good.
So similar to Reaper, if you can do a crit shot, you're not going to die. But unsimilar to Reaper, you have a really fucking tight spread, and your little reticle for that spread's really tight. It doesn't have the range it's so fucking weird. It has the shotgun blast of a shotgun, but it has the range of a shotgun, but it has the spread, it has like the tightness of a rifle shot.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I played Junker Queen like 2 times.
I tried
beta.
playing her a total of... I gave her 20 times that I played her. 20 matches.
Damn.
And... because I wanted a full assessment.
I don't play tanks all that much to begin with.
Tank-wise, from what I can find, she has a shotgun, and it's like a mid-shotgun rifle thing. Almost like a lever-action shotgun. Problem. It has the range of a Reaper with all the issues of Ashe. If she isn't scoped in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Your damage is very, very one note, and if you aren't, it's the same issue with McCree almost. Where if you try aiming a long range with McCree, if you're not hitting your shots, you're fucking yourself because you're not in your ideal range. But with her, you can't do long distance, but you also really can't do short distance either because of your small spread. So you have to be really accurate. Your little hook thingy, knife thingy, pulls enemies towards you, but doesn't pull them as far as you need them to be to do a meat shot. You pull them to you, they can back up, and now they're out of your meat shot range.
So I like that. I hate the part of like Hog's hook where like it puts you right in the spot where you can like one shot you
But
as
they
a
did,
squishy, obviously.
but they reduced Hog's hook size, so he's still avoidable.
Yeah, but my promise, not promise. My issue with that is once you get hooked, there's nothing you can do. Like you're dead.
True, sometimes, but
No,
he has to hit you and then do a quick melee. If he
yeah,
doesn't pull off the
which
quick melee combo, you're surviving.
like if you get anything above like what gold, they're not gonna miss.
I understand what you mean. It My issue though with Junker Queen is that unlike Hog can do a shitload of damage and he has a really big spread. So even if he missed his shot on the initial, say he hooked you, forgot to do a melee, and say he only hooked you and then meleeed you but forgot to do the shot, he can still shoot you and get some damage off. Junker Queen, she throws her knife at you, she missed the shot, you whiff two more because you're trying to hit them as they get away. Hog brings you into meat shot territory, and if he does so, he gets rewarded by killing you. Junker Queen, you bring them into your meat shot territory, they back up one step, and now you're fumbling to kill them. You know what I mean?
Fair.
It's not unlike you can mitigate the hook. Like, if you throw it, they come straight forward. They don't come around. You can't throw them off a ledge or anything like Hog can. You just straight forward. That, and your knife has a timer, and it comes out. And it's really weird because it's such a weird dilemma. When you throw the knife in, you get healed as they get their health sapped from them, but if you pull them towards you, it's like mediocre. So do you leave the knife in for chip damage, or do you take the knife out for potential bigger damage? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But neither one is all that satisfying.
I always saw the I forget the name of the knife skill, but I always saw that as more of a
Gracie.
team ability. Gracie, thank you. I always seen it as more of a team ability where you're not looking for it to pull them right in front of you so you can get like a one shot. You're looking for it to pull them into your team so your team can collapse on them.
I can see it stacking well with Discord or something similar to like hacks and stuff. Throw a knife into him, hack a target, discord a target. I think all of that has synergy to work. It's just that she's very close range, and she was given a. It's so weird. It's like Zen has a long range because he's long range. You got to stay in the back. Sombra has a hack to help her, but what does your knife do for you? It doesn't do a whole lot for you. It may do some stuff for the team, sure. I
definitely see it more as a team ability. Like a lot of Junker Queen's abilities are more team focused, sort of like the commanding shout.
And that's okay. I'm okay with a team-based tank. It's just that when you're alone, she sucks ass.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like as the tanks are put right now, teamwork is a heavy thing, but also you're gonna be fighting you're gonna be fighting a lot of 3v5s or 3v4s. And you kind of have to go off on your own most of the time in normal roll queue.
The thing about like the Junker Queen being like sucking on her own, I feel like that's a lot of the tanks because you don't have another tank. Like you look at Zarya, if you put her in a 1v1, what's she gonna do?
Zarya in Overwatch 2 I think is very good though.
Yeah, but in the same context of like Junker Queen a 1v1 versus like a Zarya in a 1v1.
I'd honestly
Zarya isn't going to be doing that much.
I'd say a Zarya has a better chance of killing the opponent than a Junker Queen does, simply for the fact being that now she can use 2 bubbles for herself if she wants to. So you could chain your if they're shooting at you and doing damage against you in a bubble, and you stack another bubble on top of that, you're getting your charge up pretty quick.
Yeah, okay. So the thing with
Get
that,
to
I was thinking is like, let's say Zarya versus Junker Queen 1v1. Like the Zarya has to like what's the word?
so
Rely. She has to rely on someone shooting her for her bubbles
mhm.
to get value. Versus Junker Queen has more agency. She has commanding shout. She has Gracie. She has the melee.
Sure.
Where she doesn't need like a specific ability to keep her up. You know?
Within this 1v1 though,
Yeah.
I think still Zarya is stronger. So she throws Gracie into Zarya. She puts up her
Mhm.
bubble. If she pulls her towards you, you can put another bubble up and she can't do anything, so she feeds you charge. Or she leaves Gracie in you and feeds you charge. Or she can try pulling you closer to get a meat shot and then wait the bubble out, potentially coming in for an axe swing. But at that point, you're at a medium charge level, so pulling her to you is. Because Zarya gets charged crazy fucking fast now. So you get about like 30 to 40% charge by the time you get your second bubble out. So you're at 30 to 40 charge versus her. You're burning through her over health. At that point, it's down to maneuver and skill. Can the
Mhm.
Zarya keep her range up, and can the Junker Queen follow up on shots? If Junker Queen can follow up on shots, she can probably outpace her. If Zarya gets another bubble up and is able to evade enough, Junker Queen just dies to raw damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Overall strength of a tank on their own, which is self-sufficiency is a big thing in Overwatch 2, it seems like now. In self-sufficiency, Junker Queen kind of sucks. She's good as a team character, similar to Reinhardt. Reinhardt's great as a team, but he sucks on his own.
Yeah.
He doesn't have many options on his own. He's a charge to get away, but you're vulnerable for the whole charge.
Same with like Hammond, where you need a team with Hammond to really get value.
So in this regard, for the design of Overwatch 2, she is lesser than every other tank in my opinion, but still a decent pick. Now I found an open queue. Me and Fear did open queue, and what was the combo we had going with
It
Junker Queen?
was Junker Queen, Hog, uh,
No, Junker Queen Doomfist.
that too. It was
So
Junker Queen, Doomfist, Lucio, Zen, and Mercy, or
yeah,
just like the
it was last time I remember it was Junker Queen Doomfist, and it was a triple heal of Zen, Lucio, Ana, or Mercy. You can switch out Ana and Mercy in between, and your
Oh, so you
one.
guys were just playing goats.
No, I wouldn't call it goats anymore. I wouldn't call it goats because goats was three tanks and
Yeah.
three
Three
healers.
tank, three sport.
But I wouldn't call this goats. What I called it instead was buckler because the whole point is they work off each other so well. And the reason I call it buckler is because like a buckler shield, it leaves little to be desired in defense, but it can often be the best bet because it's so maneuverable. It's maneuverable defense. Junker Queen can basically Doomfist gets in close, closes the gap. Junker Queen does some damage, and they feed off each other. Doomfist tags out, Junker Queen tags in. Doomfist tags in, Junker Queen's out. You overcome the healing gap with triple heal, and your 1 DPS can either be like a Junk, Torb, Reaper, or Soldier works really well.
yeah. It was definitely a really good comp.
We rolled, I think, 6 games in a row with it, just because it was mostly Doom. It was either Doom and Junker Queen or Junker Queen and Hog, where essentially they just pumped out enough damage at short range to be able to fuck over any team fight.
Got it.
Lucio was on heals. Zen was doing Discord damage, and Ana or Mercy was focusing purely on heals. You see what I mean? It was just really, really good.
How do you guys feel about the recent changes?
Oh, Arista's changes? I love them. I think they're needed.
Yeah.
I like that she has Fortify. It gives her better strength, and the Javelin Spin bonus for movement speed, I don't mind. I don't mind the javelin spin bonus speed. It's better for backing up, but I will say what is fucking annoying is I don't think she should have the same speed backing up as moving forward.
No.
I would like it if she was backpedaling, her speed is reduced versus moving forward, because it's really fucking annoying to be running after her as Soldier, and you can't catch up because she's just backing up. And whatever you do, she deflects. So she's like,
I think the disabling crit blitz was kind of needed. Like,
well, yeah,
it makes her better. I think she was the worst tank in this beta, besides maybe Hog.
She was basically literally, she was an unkillable tank, literally. Like
I wouldn't say unkillable. She's still really susceptible to the normal. She's still susceptible to the counter she had before, which is high splash damage, big shield breakers.
Yeah.
What she isn't susceptible to anymore is range. Doesn't matter if you have a Widow. Put Fortify on, fuck her.
Yeah.
Which I think makes her a really strong tank.
Bonus speed, it's whatever. Like, it's alright for her to have, I guess.
I would rather have this Orisa than Shield Orisa.
I don't know. I think both Orisas fill like a certain niche in their games.
They do.
Like Overwatch 2, I would say needed this type, like the Overwatch 1. Sorry, Overwatch 1 needed Overwatch 1 Orisa. Like, we didn't have any other tanks that were...
Overwatch 2, Orisa came to 1, oh my god, I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
That would be so lovely.
Jesus Christ. Pairing that up with a hog hooks, and then you get a spear back to the wall.
That's going to be so...
Or the Orisa 2 and then Doom 2 in Overwatch 1.
What about
the a wall, then just stick them to a wall?
What about Ilios having the Orisa 2?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Orisa. No.
Oh yes.
Speaking of open to roll comp, I'm gonna prefer open comp in Overwatch 2, simply because roll comp feels like shit. It's feeling like shit in a comp game. I like it for quick play. I don't care for it for comp.
I don't know. I still like it. I like the fact that like it's 2 DPS, 2 supports, 1 tank. Like I hated in Overwatch 2, Overwatch 1 before the roll queue. Like I really disliked it just because like you could play whatever you wanted, but at the same time, like everyone could play what they wanted. You could have
I understand what you mean.
And then getting people to switch was also a haggle. You know, you'd be like, hey, we need a healer. And everyone's ready to like, we need a healer? Like, why didn't you go healer? I don't want to be healer.
So
I want to be DPS.
I'd say for Overwatch 2, because tanks are so powerful, it's kind of fun to play tanks. But in terms of open queue, I just prefer it because double tank in Overwatch 2 is just so much more fun than single tank. It takes so much pressure off. It's just take 1 DPS out and you have essentially the same force, just less hassle. You know what I mean? There's not as much tension, but you're getting the same result. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that's just for comp. For quick play, I'm going to enjoy it as a 5v5. But, on to the next balance changes. We're going to tackle Sojourn and Symmetra at the same time. So
I do hope they keep the comp-like rules for quick play. Like you play both sides. I really dislike that about Overwatch 1 quick play, was you only get to play one half the map.
Yeah.
Now, Sojourn and Symmetra.
rail shots. It needs to be nerfed. I am tired of playing long range hit skins. Actually popping off as like Widowmaker or Ash, and all of a sudden I'm dead.
Don't you love it when Widowmaker and Ash essentially become irrelevant in the game due to one character?
Yeah.
No. No, it's just I can't.
It's definitely really weird.
I don't.
Like, Sojourn's a really weird character for me.
I don't mind her ultimate where it's just a beam you get to shoot through people. I think that's fine. It's really nice. I don't care for her ultimate just being rapid fire of her normal alt fire. I think if you just gave her the normal shot she got, the grenade she has, and a slide, that makes her an alternate to Soldier. And her, like Soldier, her ultimate ability is just his normal stuff, but better. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But it's that her alt fire is her ultimate, just more powerful and rapid. I don't like it.
What I really don't like about her kit, especially with the sliding ability, why can't she climb walls? Like, come on.
Well, because you can do a jump.
Just like
you can do a slide jump.
Yeah.
I know that. But like, you know how you
not
can't,
everyone has
like,
to have climbing abilities. God damn it!
I'm not saying give Reinhardt a climb ability
because climbing is kind of useless for her. You can get so much higher ground than anybody with just a slide jump. You can slide then jump instantly and get a lot of good high ground. It's the same thing with Moira's dash jump. You can get a lot of high ground with it too.
Yeah, but hear me out. Like, say if you did your slide jump, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you run into a wall, and there's like that tiny ledge where you can like sit on. Like, what map is like?
I think giving her climbing onto her kit doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I'm asking to like give it like Hanzo or Genji, like somewhere like a small.
You're asking for a ledge grab.
Yeah, that's not going to be.
I don't think she needs that.
I don't think she needs
that.
I
will say that I dislike the fact that like when she hits a wall sliding, she's like stops. You can't jump.
You stop. You stop your momentum. Like you can't jump. But hear me out. It's not going to be overpowered. It's going to stop her from shooting because she's going to be in the middle of an animation.
How about this instead? Instead of adding something, we'll adjust something. Every time you run into a wall, if you're sliding, you automatically jump.
That works.
Yeah.
Instead of running into the wall and blocking your momentum, if you run into a wall while sliding, at the apex of your slide, if you finish at the end of your slide and you run into a wall, you jump automatically. Straight up.
It just doesn't make like thematic sense for it to have a wall kind of
whatever
wall.
Momentum she's carrying, you can adjust in the air from there.
Like she's supposed to be a soldier with like cybernetic legs. It's not like Genji or Hanzo where they're like assassins / fucking ninjas.
If they gave her an automatic jump at the end of like a wall slide with better air control, I think that would help and alleviate the whole issue because I can see it in terms of like it's a thruster, boom. Sim is still useless though.
Yeah.
Sim.
I think she'll always be useless.
She got buffed, but she's still useless.
She like the only thing she's good at now is just TPing out of spawn.
Well, because
you can't even do that anymore.
Well, because there's not any shields to charge up on anymore besides Reinhardt, or technically Sig. But if you're good at Sig, you're not charging. Sim's not charging off you, and maybe Monkey, but Monkey, he doesn't need to have his bubble to survive now, so.
I still think there's a couple maps where she is still good, such as like Night Market.
Again, she can be good. It's just that
She's not good.
What I think is
He's mid.
she has utility, but she's no longer like a force to be reckoned with anymore. There's not a lot of shields. She can't charge up on anything in that fast.
I'm happy about that. I just like Symmetra. Same thing
Same.
about Bastion, Toadfall, I care.
I Zen got a nothing change. Oh no, they returned his health to normal.
No. This was a huge change. This is a change
Not
we
really.
definitely need.
No. See, like,
no, okay.
I call
as like a DPS main, this is definitely a change we needed.
I call it
Yeah.
I call it a nothing stat because if you were playing Zenyatta in Overwatch 1, it didn't matter. You were already used to it. And you changed it for the beta for 1 beta, and then it got unchanged. So it's a nothing because it just got reverted to normal.
Yeah. At the same time, I think it was either this needed to be reverted or the kick needed to be like severely nerfed.
I don't think the kick needs to ever go away.
I'm not saying get rid of it. I'm just saying nerf it.
I don't even think the kick needs to be nerfed because when I think about every other healer, they have an option to get away. Zen has never had an option to fuck someone over if they get close enough to him. Sure, you could maybe discord them and headshot them with a volley if you have it already charged up, but you're anticipating them to jump you, and you have to anticipate it. So if you charge up the volley and then miss because you charged it up and you gotta fire it, you can't just keep charging and charging and charging it. If they nerfed his jump,
I understand that.
I don't want them to nerf his kick because even if he just needs it to be like a self-defense option.
I do understand, especially in 5-5 where there's no off tank to help out the Zenyatta. I do understand it, but I'm saying that like with 225 health along with this kick, that mind you goes through shields and knocks them back far enough to where if you were to back up a little as Zen, Ryan can no longer swing on you. One of those two needed to change. Either the health needed to be nerfed, or the kick needed to be nerfed. And I still think that the kick should still be nerfed to where it doesn't go through shields.
So, here's my... You still boop Orion through a shield.
Yeah, you still can. And I'm saying like you.
No, Lucio can boop Orion through a shield.
Can you?
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think he can.
If he's falling.
That's
that's falling though.
But what I'm saying is, like,
it's like with Brig. Brig can't.
If a Rhine jumps,
if
a Rhine jumps, and he jumps in the air, you can move him back. Same with a whip shot.
Yes, but can you with whip shot?
Yep.
If he has the shield up and
if he has the shield up and you jump with him, whip shot.
But that's the air. We're talking about if
on
walking.
The ground. I'm alright with it if he's jumping and Zen kicks him and he goes flying.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Like,
but as on the ground,
kicking him
he
back.
shouldn't be able to kick through a shield.
Okay, so here I'm just gonna speak from this as Orion's perspective. I'm not putting my shield up if there's a Zen in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna swing on the bastard, and he's probably gonna get damaged to about half. And a second swing, he's dead. If I hit him with a fire strike, he's down to 1 swing death.
Again, I would like to remind you that if he were to kick you and back up a little, you could no longer swing on him.
Okay, so say I throw a fire strike at him, or even if he kicks me back. So if I jump, the same thing that I got learned in Overwatch 1, if you jump and swing, it extends your reach. So,
I did not know that.
Yes, if you jump, then swing extends your reach. So if you're playing against a Rhine that knows how to play Rhine, he's going to jump in, you're going to kick him, you're in swing distance, you got hit the first time, he follows it up with a fire strike, you're dead. If he hits you with 1 fire strike, he can hit you with a second one, you're dead. He doesn't need to swing on you to kill you. Say he doesn't have that, he can charge against you and you're dead. Because you can't kick him out of a charge. Like Lucio can, where you can like stall it, or Brig can like boop you back and stall it for a moment.
Yeah. Well, I think those are different, just because those aren't melee abilities.
But
those are projectile.
What I'm saying here is that for a Zen to bully a Rhine, the Rhine either has to be a dumbass and keep his shield up, or the Zen has to do a flank Zen, come around back, scare the shit out of the Rhine, and hope the Rhine has some pressure from the other side not to put a shield down. So if you do a planned pincer attack, sure. In the one
With a
instance,
flanking Zen.
in the one instance of a flanking Zen, no one else notices. It can be pulled off. But every time I've had a Zen try to come up to me and hit me, even with the beta, I fucking nurked him. I don't find it that much of an issue. It's similar to technically speaking, I could do the same with a boop if he jumps, or a whip shot if he jumps. Even if he's on the ground, I don't find it that much of a pain in the ass, because Zen already has such low health. You know what I mean?
So, what I've experienced and like watching like contenders or Overwatch League, you really could not dive Zen at all because he was just he had that extra 25 health, which really didn't. I mean, it doesn't make a difference, but it did. Like,
it makes a difference because it makes it so he can survive 1 second longer to boop you away.
yeah, and then on top of that, especially pairing that with the Junker Queen shout, it was too overpowering.
Okay, but I feel that's more of an issue of a Junker Queen shout buff than, because like if I stack a Lucio, it's the same thing of if you stacked a Lucio while they nerfed Lucio's speed, you stacked it with the other thing, it made you go super fast. Because so out of that, if you put Junker Queen, you took her out, is it still overpowered?
I don't think so. I think the main thing about the shout was that he also gained 200 more health.
So what I'm asking though is, in that combo, is it the Zen the issue, or is the Junker Queen's shout the issue?
I think it's more the shout, but like I will agree that like as a tracer, trying to get a Zen, like before, like when the beta first started, I didn't know that Zen got the fucking punt, and trying to fucking 1v1 a Zen as a tracer while he's kicking you everywhere is the most horrible feeling ever. Like
it really is.
Okay, so he doesn't have the 25 health anymore. I want an alteration to Zen, okay? One alteration. I want to make it so that if you're charging up a volley, you can hold a charge for as long as you want.
Sort of like BAP jump.
Yeah.
No, make him use his legs. Finally.
I want it to make it where if Zen is holding the charge, he can charge up a volley and he gets to hold it. But what I want it to do instead is when he's holding that charge, he depletes his ammo 1 for every second it's done. Say his thing is like you charge up a volley of 5, for every second you continue to hold it, you're depleting your ammo pool every second by 1.
That'd be alright. I still say we need the change, and we need to get this to Blizzard, like start a petition to have Rhine and Doom, as they go through a BAP window, do extra damage.
What?
That is one of the only changes I want for Overwatch.
No, I going on to Reinhardt. Reinhardt's in a better place in the newest beta that was released before. He has more health and more shield. But he's not.
No, his shield got nerfed.
No, I'm sorry. He has more armor than health. They switched his armor and health.
There we go.
They gave him more armor. They lowered his shield. I think he needs to do more damage, though. He's not that much of a threat.
Yeah, about maybe 10.
If not more damage, increase his health to 500 again. Instead of 400?
10 more damage on each swing. And then, yeah, that's really about it. I think that's fine. That's a fair, balanced change.
Either 10 more damage or give him 500 health again.
Yeah. That's not overpowered.
So, beyond that, we got past the patch notes. Oh yes, there's minor patch notes for heroes. Oh wait, no, never mind. So we're off the patch notes, onto the Mercy versus Moira.
Necrotic. Oh, I was
Yeah,
gonna say Necrotic Orb.
Necrotic Orb. Yep, I think that's next. Yeah, Necrotic Orb. The Necrotic Orb for Moira. What was your guys' initial opinions on it when it first released? When you played with it and did a little bit tinkering?
So I kind of played it like once or twice. I thought it was definitely. I felt like it was good in my opinion. I felt like it was good and bad. Like I saw both sides. Uh, but whenever like a useful ultimate came into play, Warner basically just shut it down. Like there was barely any damage coming out or from that ultimate.
I thought it was the same issue with Mercy's old ultimate of Resing All.
Oh,
where
that was the best ultimate.
But I found
Yeah.
I found the same issue with it as Moira, where you're not using the ability constantly to delete damage. You're holding it until someone pops an ultimate. And ultimates take like 3 times as long to charge in Overwatch 2. Even on fast charging ones like Tracer and Ryan, they still take like quite a bit of time to charge up. Unless you're not dying and killing everything in sight before your DPS have an option to get there. And sure, you'll build up 2 or 3, but you're still building slowly. So you maybe only use it twice a fight. That's it. Like twice a whole match, or 3 times a match.
I think it was definitely needed.
Well,
like, I did not like the damage orb. Like,
well,
you know, the quote unquote skill orb.
So what I didn't like versus Necrotic versus Damage Orb is Necrotic Orb, you're holding it for an ultimate, so you're not using it as a normal ability. But when you do use it, you have like a 30-second cooldown, so you're probably not enticing. It's not enticing to use. So you use it, and you're waiting half a game. You're waiting like half a minute, which in 1 minute, a lot of shit can happen in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So you use it, and your Ana can get a nano and another half of a nano all out by the next time you have another one. And then you pop it.
What I have been seeing was like good Moira players, they would like use it, not like having to save it for an ultimate. They've been using it normally, like who's been popping off like the most, or who is like really damaging team where I can't, back up and and using that orb on them and completely shut them down. Like I know there was an instance where I was like playing Reinhardt and it was like really slapping the team around. I kept on getting Necrotic.
Did they nerf the cooldown?
No, they just took it out.
Yeah, they reverted the changes.
So
no, for the Necrotic Orb.
Yeah, they took it out.
Okay, because it says 16 seconds.
Yeah.
Here.
So the thing is when they had it up, even if you were using it a lot, like say you used it when you had it, that's great. But again, it felt like you used it, and it might do something on the people that like you're like getting used by. But then it comes into the whole other issue of, if you take time to like know damage numbers or assess situations, and now someone's doing less damage than usual, it kind of throws you off a bit. Like, oh, maybe you can take them, maybe you can't. Maybe that's just learning more with the skill. I just found it to be not super engaging, that I used it, and so I'm thinking in terms of how I play Moira. When I play Moira, if they're all grouped up, I can use the damage orb, and they'll slowly take damage, and I might get 1 or 2 kills if my team lowered them down, and it's a finisher. It's a cleanup kill sort of thing. So you're cleaning up damage with it, or you're getting your resource back. Now, when Moira had the enfeebling orb and only that, the only way you can get resource back is a limited range suck. And if you're in anywhere near a DPS or a tank in the range you needed to be able to suck something from them to get your resource back, you were getting murked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because now armor does a 30% drop, you can't take it from a tank because moria already does not that great damage in Overwatch 2. And with the 30% damage resistance, you're doing even less not so great damage and gaining less resource back over time, since carried over to 1, if the longer you hold down on a target, the less resource you gain from them. So the less damage you're doing, you can't even take from tanks anymore that have armor. So your only option is if they have a hog. So then you got to go up to DPS. DPS do twice as much damage now. One Reaper shoots you in the face, you're dead. A McCree throws a bomb on you that hits you with a body shot, you're dead. You can't go up against a Torb anymore. You can't do your normal picks. You can't even go into the back line to flank a bit. You're just dead. So you couldn't get your resource back as fast as you needed it. You had an ability with a 16 to what felt like a 30-second cooldown that if they were hit, they did less damage, but unless you hit a DPS, it wouldn't have mattered all that much. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
I think it's a like high risk, high reward ability.
But then there's
that
I understand like the high risk, high reward thing, but you don't have your damage orb anymore for sustained damage or reliable getting resource back. So you're gimping yourself. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Ghost?
Well, I don't know about that. Like, I didn't really like the damage orb in general in the first place. Like the fact that you could just throw it out and like do what little damage, whatever. Like, I think this orb is better than damage. The fact that like in a, let's say like 3 people dive, you can hit him with the damage orb, you can get out. Like they can't do much damage anymore. And then in a 1v1, like say like this person, like say like a sojourn tries to come up, tries to take you out. You can hit them with it, and it's more even fight. But you also have to you have to assess whether you're going to use it, try to use it like proactively, like on the enemy team, sort of like hit them while they're still not ready to fight.
So
try to make an engage for your team, or you can try to 1v1 with it.
Say you did flank around and you hit on a Reaper and you're trying to suck from the Reaper. So now he's only doing half damage, but it's still Overwatch 1 normal damage.
Do they nerf the damage reduction?
So damage,
it's 75 here.
So so say you go against a Reaper and you do damage reduction. Well, because of the damage boost of the Reaper he gets in Overwatch 2 as a passive, he's doing around normal-ish damage from Overwatch 1. So he's still a threat to you.
DPS get a damage buff?
Yes, all DPS have... Let's see, damage was increased overall for all DPS in Overwatch 2.
Ah.